Okay, greetings. This is Brother Sarah. After my meditation this morning, I did some reflection, and I realized that while I was in meditation, I was feeling a very profound sense of deep peace, happiness, contentment, just sitting alone silently in meditation. And I've reflected upon the previous day when a contractor came. I had someone giving me an estimate on repairing my roof. And so he, I took him, and showed him where I thought the damage was coming from. I was, experiencing some leaks. And he asked me if I had any children. I told him I had one. And then, he asked me, if there was if I had a spouse, to which I answered no. And so he said, "So you live here by yourself?" I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "So you're happy?" I said, "Yes, I am." And, that made me laugh because I gleaned from his question that he himself was married and wasn't happy. So as I reflected upon that, it occurred to me that it would be good to do a Facebook Live and a YouTube Live to discuss happiness. I think many of us go through life with the expectation and illusion that happiness is a pursuit that we engage in looking for it outside of ourselves. We perceive that we're going to find happiness in something or receive it from someone. Often we go in this pursuit of finding the ideal mate with the expectation and hope that if we find the right one, then we will be happy. Or some who are more ambitious and career minded perceive if they find the right career, get the right education, make the right amount of money, and are thus able to acquire all the finer things in life, then upon having done so, they will have found the elusive happiness. Yet, when people have done all these things, happiness does not surface for us. So we come away with the conclusion that maybe it's something else. Uh, we didn't get enough, or we chose the wrong person. Or we'll be in a relationship, and when the relationship doesn't go according to expectations, we are not finding that the relationship is bringing forth the happiness that we expected or wanted, then we get frustrated with our partners and disappointed. Um, we blame them for our lack of happiness. We blame them for not doing all they can to make us happy. So the reason I wanted to do this was to dispel the myth that happiness is obtainable from anything or anyone outside of ourselves. And that's why we end up finding ourselves disappointed and frustrated when we find that the pursuit of happiness is elusive when we're pursuing it from that perspective, from the perspective of thinking that finding the right person will bring it in, or accumulating the right things, or doing certain things, that those things will bring us happiness. And so many of us end up finding ourselves unhappy, try to, I guess, rebound and reflect and try to figure out, what they did wrong, and you know, or get mad and feel that the opposite sex is just all messed up, and they're incapable of bringing us happiness, and that some will go to the extreme of just blaming the opposite sex completely, and then deciding that, well, then maybe I'll just stay within the sex because the opposite sex is all wrong. But then, those who pursue that path as well end up having exactly the same problem. Uh, the patterns continue because the problem is not in the other person, nor is the solution with the other person. The key to our happiness and our suffering lies within ourselves, lies within us. And so that's where we need to look. So our problem in terms of not being able to find happiness is that we've been looking in the wrong place. We've been looking externally when the source is and has always been within ourselves. And that's why all the spiritual teachings which have come down to us, and even if we are reading the religious texts with the right level of discernment, we will find that they all say that the source of happiness is within ourselves. But we haven't been conditioned in that way. In fact, we're conditioned, particularly in Western culture, to believe that just the accumulation of certain things will bring us the happiness that we're looking for. That we're bombarded with advertisements, telling us that, this places that we travel to, will bring us happiness. And so if we're jet setting across the world, we'll be happy. Or if we get the right car, we'll be happy. We get the right jewelry or the right clothes, and we'll be happy. So, we're constantly being programmed in that way. We're seeing this type of thing in the movies, romance novels, love songs. All these things are conditioning us and programming us with the expectation that happiness will come from something outside of ourselves or someone from outside of ourselves. And as I pointed out at the start of this, that what partly motivated me to come on and do this was realizing the level of happiness and tranquility and peace that I felt was during my meditation, where I sat alone by myself. And I can't say that I can point to any other activity that I engage in that I could feel that level of profound uh, peace and happiness. That's not to say that we can't experience some happiness from some experience that we might have, something we might do, some activity we may enjoy, or even an experience with another person. The point is that though the happiness that are derived from those sources are only temporary. It's not something that will last and be sustainable. The effect of it will wear off after some time, and we'll be back where we started. Also, it will create in us the experience, one, of having it, deriving some joy and pleasure from it, and then having it gone, or the experience ends. Then we want to replicate that and experience it again. And so that creates within us an attachment to that. Ultimately, the attachment that builds in us from those pleasurable experiences have the twofold effect of creating expectations for us, and the expectations then end up leading to inevitable disappointment, because we're not going to replicate that experience, or it won't be as satisfying, or it may not even happen like that again. And so it takes us out of being able to be fully present in the moment, to be able to experience what we're in the midst of at that moment, because our consciousness is projected out in hopes of being able to have this experience again. Uh, our mind and our imagination gets involved in projecting how it's going to be and how we want it to be. And more often than not, it won't happen like that. And so that will create the circumstances that will lead to our disappointment and frustration. So it creates for us attachment, which then in turn leads to our own disappointment. But we're creating those things for ourselves. So the search for happiness is not an external search. The search for happiness is an internal search. And it's always been that. The search and desire for happiness has always been driven by the spirit's thirst to reconnect permanently with the source, to have permanent reunion with eternal consciousness that we've lost during the process of our incarnation. So innately, we know that there's something missing, though we're part of it always, and there really is no disconnection. Our conscious connection to it has been severed. So there's a block that prevents us from being firmly established in that, and that's what the spiritual teachings aim to do for us, is to remove the veil that separates us from our conscious connection with spirit. So when we are born, when we incarnate into this realm, where we know that we feel intuitively that something is missing, but we don't know what it is. And particularly if we come up in the Western culture, we don't know what it is that we're missing. We just know that something's missing. We know that we're not happiness, and we know that there's something that we need to search for in order to be able to find it. But as I pointed out, we get deluded and programmed in thinking that it's an external search. And so we continue to go through these different cycles of seeking happiness from something that cannot deliver it to us, which then presents for some of us the process of actually moving us farther and farther away from what it is that we're actually looking for. So, as I usually do, I always strongly encourage meditation as part of our spiritual practice, because the practice of meditation is one of the more potent activities that we can engage in to help facilitate our reconnection with spirit. So I think that's where I'll end this talk. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions and you would like to begin the process of meditation, or if you started the process of meditation and you find yourself getting frustrated because you had a difficult time being able to meditate, I can help you for sure. So do reach out to me. You can reach out to me here on Facebook. Just send me a Facebook message, or you can visit my website, www.sa-ra.org. That's www.sa-ra.org. And you can sign up for a free consultation with me, and we can work out and see how I can best be of service to you. So that hope that this has been a benefit to you, and see you next time.